Hello students, welcome to EduTap and welcome to this ARD series. Here we will cover all the important topic for your NABARD examination. So today's lecture is about agronomy and we will study about the tillage here. Okay, we have already covered a lecture. If you haven't checked this video, find the link in the description and do check it. So before we start, do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Telegram channel too for the PDF of this video. So first of all, we will see what kind of question appear in the previous year of NABARD examination from this particular topic. Okay, so let's start our class with our first previous year question that appeared in NABARD Grade A in 2017 in phase 1. And the question was, which among the following is mainly used to reduce the soil strength and cover plant material? Your option are primary tillage, secondary tillage, zero tillage, conventional tillage, or none of the above. So if you know the answer, wait, we will discuss it, and if you don't know the answer, don't worry, we will discuss it, we will cover it, and at the end you will be able to answer it. Okay, so let's start our class. So first of all, when we are talking about tillage, first of all, it is very important to know what is tillage. Okay, so tillage is nothing but a mechanical process to disturb the top layer of the soil. So it's a mechanical manipulation of the soil for the purpose of crop production, affecting significantly the soil characteristic and the processes. So what will be the objective? Why we do tillage? See, whenever we apply any process in the agriculture, it is usually related to production. So what we are doing in tillage, we are taking some machines or some mechanical mean to disturb our soil, topsoil. Okay, there can be a plow, hull we already know, and different variation of that particular plow. So what we will do in the tillage? So suppose there is a top layer of the soil and here this is your field and you have to apply some seed in here. So what we will do, first of all we need to break this surface. Why? Because the surface will be very hard. So this is nothing but tillage. Okay. So now further your tillage can be classified on the three means, and these three means are, first of all, it can be classified on the basis of time. Okay, then it can also be classified based on the cropping season and also the modern farming methods. Okay, now based on time, when we are doing the tillage, is it before cultivation, is it after cultivation? On that basis there are preparatory cultivation tillage and after cultivation tillage. So what is preparatory cultivation tillage, what is after cultivation tillage? You can already tell by the name. Preparatory cultivation means it will happen before cultivation, and after cultivatory tillage it will happen after cultivation. Okay, based on the cropping season there are two. This is based on time. Okay, but what time? Not the cultivation but cropping time. Okay, if your crop is already being sown or is it not being sown? Okay, it's basically based on the season. This was on the time, this was on the season. So based on this there are on season tillage, off season tillage. On season when we are doing farming, off season when our fields are not on the operation. Okay, farm operation are off. So after that, based on the technology or how much technology we are applying, what is our tillage modern or not? Based on these there are two kind of tillage. These are conventional and conservation. So here the objective differs. Okay? So conventional, as we usually do. Conservation, here we want to prevent our soil. So we will discuss it in detail, but first of all, let's discuss based on the time, preparatory cultivation and after cultivation tillage. Okay, so based on time there are two, as we know. So talking about preparatory cultivation. So as I have told you, preparatory cultivation, you can guess by the name. So in preparatory cultivation, when we are applying the tillage system in our field, at the time of preparation of soil. Okay, we are preparing our field for the seed and all the input we are going to give to the field. Okay, so based on that there are three kind of tillage: primary tillage, secondary tillage, and layout of the seed. So primary means number one. So primary tillage will happen at first. Okay, and it can be of three types: deep tillage, subsoiling, and round ear tillage. So we will discuss this now. So talking about deep tillage, as the name suggests, what we will do, see, if there is your farm and you grow some particular crop in the your crop field, okay, or some farm. So what will happen after you have harvested it? So you have left the field. So what will happen? This surface of the your field will become hard. Okay, it won't be able to penetrate and absorb anything. So or you have buy a new land and now you want to grow some crop in it. The land is hard. So what we will do? You will apply primary tillage there. you will take the help of some tractor. Okay, there will be a tool apply, and it will, you know, invert your soil. What they will do? They will penetrate deep, and then they will invert your soil. Because of that, what will happen? The lower layer of the soil will be exposed to the sun. So what are the advantages? We can tell it from there. So first of all, it will help in weeding. Okay, your weed will be removed. Then it will also help in you know, drying your soil. So if there moisture is there, there will be some pest residing there, there will be some harmful microorganism residing there. Those all will be eliminated when the soil is basked in the sun. Okay, then moving to the subsoiling. See, there is a disadvantage of deep tillage. What is this? In deep tillage, you know, sometime for deep rooted crop, you know, penetrate up to 35 centimeters of the soil layer. Because of that, your soil get you know, difficult to work with, and since you are applying a tractor, sometime, you know, upper soil, you know, get tilled on, okay, and it get inverted, but the lower soil, you know, had a lot of pressure, because of which the subsoil layer, not the upper layer, but the subsoil layer get compacted. There are some clods that form. So to break those clods, and without or minimum you know, disturbance to the upper soil, the subsoiling is done. Now how subsoiling is done? There are various tools that go deep and then they till it. Okay, we don't do any inversion in the subsoiling, so that is important. Now year-round tillage, as the name suggests, when we do tillage all the season, okay, both in on season when we are growing the crop and off season. So this year-round tillage, we don't only apply the tillage process only in the, you know, when we are growing the crop and when we are preparing the crop. We do it after harvesting and all the time. So that is your year-round tillage. Now moving to secondary tillage. So see, you have done the primary tillage, okay, you have broken the surface of the soil. Now what will happen? See, this particular soil will break into some clod, and your plant, of course, will not be able to break these clods. So you need to further break your clods. Okay, you need to pulverize your soil. So that you do by secondary tillage. So in secondary tillage, these big clods are broken down into small particles with the help of various farm machineries. Okay, or there are various tools. Now your you know, plant root can penetrate easily after secondary soiling. Now talking about layout seed bed, this particular tillage method is applied in some plant. It's not necessary for all the plant. So if your field is leveled, some hardy crop don't need layout of the seed bed. But some of your crops, especially in case of black soil, before, you know, cultivating your land, you need to make furrow and ridges. So in that case, layout seed bed is done, because see, your black soil has large number of clay particles and it hold on to the water particles. Okay, so you need proper drainage system. Okay, so that's why furrows are needed and ridges are needed in these cases. Furrows and ridges are like this. Okay, water will be penetrated here, your crop will grow here. So I hope it is clear. Now talking about after cultivation. So before cultivation or preparatory cultivation or the main field preparation, it is also called main field preparation, that is done before you have sown the seed. Okay, now you have sown the seed, some of your crop is there. Okay, your plant have come out. Now you will do after cultivation tillage. Now after cultivation tillage, mainly it has three processes, and these three processes are your thinning and gap filling, then their weeding and hoeing, and then their earthing up. Okay, talking about thinning and gap filling. See, thinning means, suppose you are a farmer and you have sown the seed or your hand broadcasted the seed. Okay, now what will happen? At some places there will be uniform distance between your plants, but in some places there will be overcrowding of your plants. So now what will happen, at this particular place, your plants will start to compete with each other and it will affect your productivity, and that is not good. So what we will do, see, here it is overcrowding. Suppose here it is one crop and there is a lot of distance between them. Your plant should be sown like this, but it has grown like this. So what you will do, you will uproot these plants and put it here. One you put it there. So you will again maintain this uniformity between your plants. Okay, so that is thinning and gap filling. Thinning means uprooting the plants, and gap filling means putting it at appropriate places. Okay, so main aim of thinning and gap filling here is, to prevent overcrowding and to fill up the unnecessary gaps between your crop. Okay, then moving to weeding and hoeing. So see, your crops has grown now, but beside the crops there are some weed that has taken place, and now again they are competing with your plant and affecting your productivity. So you need to remove these weeds. Okay, so what you do? You will take a hoe and uproot these weeds. Okay, and this hoeing process also help in aeration. See, you are tilling the land. Okay, you are inverting the soil, so air is entering your plant, soil and farm, and that is good for your plants again. So talking about earthing up. See, what is your earthing up? Some of your plants are not enough strong, like in case of potato is there. Okay, in case of sugarcane. So what you do, you support your plant. So suppose this is your plant, and after a heavy rain or some wind and that, your plant sometimes lodged. So you don't need this. Okay, this will harm your plant. So what you do, you put soil up with their root. This is your soil. Okay, to support your plant. So this process is earthing up. We are taking the soil from earth and we are building a support for our plant. So this is earthing up. So I hope everything is clear from the after cultivation tillage. Okay, so these three are main in after cultivation tillage. So beside that, now we have talked about based on the time, preparatory cultivation, after cultivation. Now let's discuss based on season. There are on season and off season tillage. So what is on season tillage? See, it is quite easy. As we have studied in the primary tillage, secondary tillage, this all is done when your plant are in field. Okay, you are doing weeding, you are doing hoeing, you are doing earthing up. Okay, then you are subsoiling. That all is done when you are about to grow your plant, or you are about to plant your seed in the field. So that is on season tillage, quite easy, not much to discuss. But now let's discuss off season tillage, because this is very interesting. Why we are doing tillage in off seasons when we are not planning to plant anything? So this is done to prepare your field. See what happen in semi-arid condition or the dry lands. Your rain is limited. Okay, so you have to conserve the soil. So suppose you have done this, you have harvested your crop, and as I told you before too. So after harvesting, if you are not doing anything in your field, what will happen? This surface will become very hard, and the water from the rain will not be able to penetrate this hard layer, and because of that, the soil moisture will drop. Okay, so what you need to do in dry land condition, you need that soil moisture. So what you will do? You do a tillage. Because of that, forthcoming rain will be absorbed. Now this off-season tillage is of two types. One, it's done after harvesting. Okay. Then it is also done on fallows. Fallow means, suppose this is your land and you have grown crop here, you have grown crop here, but here you have left this distance. Why? To move your tractor, to move people, to for moisture and all, but you are not cultivating this particular land between your crops. So what you do, sometimes you cultivate this particular land, and this fallow harvesting is done again in summer season and winter season both. Okay, so I hope everything is clear. Off season very important, off season tillage very important for dry land agriculture in this semi-arid condition. Okay, why? Conserves the soil. Also see, in off season tillage, if you are not harvesting your land and your land is hard, what will happen? If there is wind, it will also got erosion on your land. So to prevent this all, also to maintain the moisture, also to make your soil able to absorb the moisture that is coming from the rain. So you do off season tillage. So that was all about based on the cropping season. Now let's try to again reattempt our PYQ that we have discussed. I hope you will be able to answer now. So our question was, which among the following is mainly used to reduce the soil strength? Also cover plant material. So we are breaking the soil, okay, and we were removing all the weed and that all we have. So what we do in this? The answer will be primary tillage, of course. So as we discussed, primary tillage done after secondary tillage to further break this clod that were made from the primary tillage. Okay, then zero tillage we will discuss, and conventional tillage we will discuss further. Okay. So now let's move to the second question that was there in the NABARD Grade A exam in 2018 in phase 1. So in which of the following tillage the soil left undisturbed from the harvest up to the planting except for the nutrient injection? So your primary tillage, secondary tillage, zero tillage, conventional tillage, or none of the above. Don't worry, if you don't know that, we will discuss it and you will be able to answer. Okay. So moving to the third step of the tillage, we have discussed the based on cropping season. Let's move to now modern farming system. So talking about modern farming system, there is your conventional tillage, there is your conservation tillage. So what is the difference between these two? See, conventional, anything conventional means it is ongoing, okay, it is traditional, it is done easily, okay, and conservation, our goal is to conserve something. So talking about that, in case of soil, when we are talking about tillage, so conventional tillage, as we do primary, secondary, subsoiling, earthing up, that is all. So what we do, see, we are breaking the clod of the soil. But it is generally said that conventional tillage has more harm than advantages, and this harm appear in a long term. Okay, so what will happen, see, if you are doing your conventional tillage in a land again and again, so what will happen, you are breaking this soil, okay, then you are enabling it to have clods, then you're breaking it again, then clods are forming again, then you're breaking the clods again. So this particular process, repetition of this process, what happens, your soil particles become weak and prone to erosion. What kind of erosion? Both water and your soil erosion. Okay, then what happens, if your soil is weak and suppose you are not adding any manure, okay, or manure content is too low, or your crop is very exhaustive, so what will happen in this case, the nutrient get poured out because your soil can't hold on to the nutrient. So if the rain comes, nutrients are there, these all get leached out, okay, and your plant don't need the nutrients because your plant root can't go very deep, okay, so waste of process again. Then the third is, if if there are dry land condition, or if there are summers, so your soil particle have no moisture because moisture get percolated, okay, it get leached out. So what will happen now, this above soil particle again, wind erosion, okay, and in long term if it affects the fertility of the soil. How? Because see, I have told you, in case of tillage, what we do, we invert our soil. So whatever microorganism, soil biota, or your insect or good insect, whatever are there, they all get killed because of continuous heating and cooling process. So there is loss of soil biota and it will affect the nutrient too, okay. So in this case, you can see we are doing soil tillage, okay, soil nutrient are leaching out, so very harmful. So in result of that, what we do, now we are trying to do conservation tillage, okay, we are trying to maintain the fertility of the soil by minimizing the tillage. In conservation tillage, you should know that in one way or another, we are preventing all the tillage we need to do in the conventional tillage, like primary, secondary, then seed layout preparation, then after cultivation. So we are preventing the all step in one way or another, okay, we will discuss how we will do it, but first let's take a look at the advantages. So what are the advantages? Since we are not inverting our soil again and again, and we are minimizing tillage, of course the nutrient leaching out, the process we have, that will be lowered. Because see, in this what you do, you try to prevent the deep soil tillage. So even if you are doing the tillage in the top layer, the nutrient will retain in the lower layers, okay. Then it also, we are not we are minimizing the tillage here, so what will happen, your soil biota will be maintained, okay. So all the disadvantage here are advantages here. So but now we will discuss different kind of conservation tillage that we do in our field. So starting with the zero tillage, then there is stubble tillage, then there is rotatory tillage, then there is strip mulch tillage, then there is minimum tillage, okay. So talking about zero tillage, as the name suggests, we are doing no tillage. You have grown any crop, suppose you have grown wheat or you have grown rice. After harvesting, you are not removing the lower part of the field that is attached to soil, that is also stubble. So you are not removing any stubble or any stalk part that our land have. So that is zero tillage. Talking about the stubble mulch tillage, see here we are not disturbing it at all. So the problem here, what happens, weed also present itself here in our field. That is a problem. So to solve that, what we do, stubble mulch tillage is another option of conservation tillage. What we do in that, we somehow uproot the plant, but we left the stubble in a form of mulch. Mulch means coverage to our soil. It will prevent the soil moisture. Okay, so we left the stubble here. In zero tillage, we do not touch it, but in here we crush it, but we leave that in our lands. Okay, and it also help us with our weeding. So now talking about rotatory tillage. Now after, in here we still need to do some kind of work, but in rotatory tillage we do tillage. But what's the advantage here? In rotatory tillage, we mix primary tillage and secondary tillage together. It means, as I have told you, in primary tillage what we will do, we break the surface. Then in secondary tillage, we further break the bigger clod that were formed due to primary tillage. But in this process, what we will do, we will directly break this particular hard surface into small particles. It means this secondary tillage will not be required. Okay, or the primary and secondary tillage process will done together. So what will happen? It will absorb the soil, then it will rotate it, it will pulverize our soil, and our soil particle will be as good as it would have been after secondary tillage. Okay, now talking about the strip mulch tillage. What we do in the strip mulch tillage, you are mulching and leaving the strip of mulch and doing the tillage in some strips. Okay, so here you will do tillage and here you will left your mulch, then again tillage, then again mulch. So what you do, you tile your land as much as, or you till your land as much as required, not unnecessarily. As we do in the case of conventional tillage, what we do tillage in our whole farm, but here we are doing it in the strips, and the strips will be as if they are required. Okay, now talking about minimum tillage. So what we do in minimum tillage, we are minimizing the total step as we do with rotatory tillage, but here it is a little different. We are minimizing the process of the tilling. It means primary tillage that we have to do in this case. Okay, primary tillage is required, but while doing the secondary tillage, we are involving other operation. Either we are doing weeding, it means we are removing the weed, okay, or we are also sowing the field, putting the seeds there. So in one way or another, we are minimizing the total tillage, or we are combining some step with the secondary tillage. So these are all your conservation tillage. Either zero tillage, it means you will do no tilling at all. At mulch tillage, you will do somehow, you will leave the mulch in the field. Okay, stubble in the form of mulch. Mulch means crop cover, soil cover. It will cover your soil and prevent your moisture loss. Now talking about rotatory tillage, again you are doing primary and secondary tillage work in one go. Okay, then strip mulch tillage, you will do tilling, but in the strips, and the strip will be as you require. Then talking about minimum tillage, you will cut short the process, steps of tillage. Okay, you are doing primary tillage, that is necessary, but for secondary step, you are combining one or other step, so you don't have to go to field again and again. Okay, so I hope everything is clear to you. Now let's reattempt our question that we have discussed. So in which of the tillage the soil left undisturbed? We are not disturbing the soil at all from the harvest, planting, except for nutrient injection. It means we are providing new nutrient there, but we are not disturbing our soil. So your option are primary tillage, secondary tillage, zero tillage, conventional tillage, or none of the above. And of course your answer will be zero tillage, because we are not disturbing our soil after harvesting at all. Okay, so I hope everything is clear. So that was all, students, for your tillage. We have discussed the agronomy part here and what is important here. Now let's quickly discuss another question that can appear. Okay, it is your practice question since we have discussed it. In which of the following type of tillage hard pans of the field are broken down without disturbing the surface soil? Okay, so we are not disturbing the topsoil, but we are breaking the hard pans at the lower layer of the soil. So that will be your, very good, that will be your subsoiling. Okay, so that was all, and I hope you like the session. You will find it useful for the examination. So if you have any query, any discussion, any suggestion, or if you like the session, do let me know in the comments so I can bring more session to you. Thank you so much for attending the lecture. Have a good day.